that if anyone was walking around saying that, it would be a public order offence.
He's not walking around saying
I know, but you can easily read it. So it's not just words; it's anything that's displayed as well. So technically,
does that include pro-Palestinian flags?
Okay then, so it seems like Humberside Police do not know what public order offence is still. I don't know how they don't. Well, I'll tell you why, because it's Humberside Police. This is in Hull, obviously, and this is a guy getting in trouble for having a word on a t-shirt. They said it's a public order offence to have that word on a t-shirt, because that word is a swear word. So, yeah, we'll get into the Public Orders Act in a minute, but let's get into the video.
I'm being reasonable with it. You take it off.
Well, that's up to him.
Is man offensive?
Yeah, no.
Is man offensive then? Man offensive?
No. It's not a criminal offence. That if anyone was walking around saying that, it would be a public order
He's
offence.
not walking around saying
I know, but you can easily read it. So it's not just words; it's anything that's displayed as well. So technically,
does that include pro-Palestinian flags?
you know, certain things.
Does that include all the hate they have written on their
That is an offensive word if you're walking around saying or displaying.
It's only offensive to
Is that the
start
same
with.
as walking around
To anyone else.
to the sea?
It's up to the police then.
What I'm commenting on is this t-shirt.
Yeah, I know you're coming on that t-shirt. I'm just asking a question. Is that the same as walking around chanting "River to the Sea"?
I'm not commenting on that. I'm commenting on this t-shirt.
You won't comment, will you?
So because it says Star is a cunt.
It's that word.
What cunt?
So you have to take it off. Right?
What about the
Okay then, so saying the word cunt is a public order offence. So let's actually have a look at Section 5 of the Public Orders Act of 1986, which we all know is a person is guilty of an offence if he uses threatening or abusive words or behaviour, or display disorderly behaviour, or displays any written sign or other visual representation which is threatening or abusive, right? The word cunt is not threatening. It could be classed as abusive, but again, is it really? Within the hearing or sight of a person likely to be cause harassment, alarm or distress. Thereby, an offence under this is being committed, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to go into it all. We've already been into it. But a person likely to be caused harassment, alarm or distress. Now, just having a t-shirt on can't be deemed as harassment, alarm and distress in my opinion. But let's actually have a look at the next one, which may be in place, which is a Section 4A under the same legislation, which is a person is guilty of an offence if with intention to cause a person harassment, alarm or distress, he uses threatening, abusive or insulting words or behaviour or disorderly behaviour, or displays any written sign any written sign or visual representation which is threatening, abusive or insulting. Keyword in here, he has to have intention to cause a person harassment, alarm or distress. Thereby, but let's actually have a look at the Crown Prosecution, what they say about this. They've got a very interesting section actually. Where are you? Hey, that's Section 4. 4A, here we go. And it runs all the way into 5. I'm not going to go into 5. We can go into that if you really want. But let's see what 4A is saying.
Triable summarily. Maximum 26 weeks custody. See table below for the elements of this offence. Section 4A carries a higher maximum than Section 5. It requires the intention to cause harassment, alarm or distress to a specific victim. This can usually be proved where there is evidence of specific, directed abuse. However, it is important to remember that proving the defendant's intent is not enough. There must also be evidence of somebody, which need not be the person targeted, suffering actual harassment, alarm or distress as a result. The evidence of this could come from that person themselves, or it could come from another witness who can say that the person displayed signs of harassment, alarm or distress. As the effect on the victim is an essential element of the offence, prosecutors should not presume that it had that effect but should seek evidence which is capable of proving it. Section 4A creates circumstances in which the type of language or behaviour which would otherwise fall under Section 5 can be charged as a more serious offence. However, prosecutors should have regard to the principles of charging which are that an offence should be selected which reflects the seriousness of the offence and gives the court sufficient sentence powers. This will not always mean that the most serious offence made out on the evidence should be charged. If all the elements of the offence of Section 4A are made out, prosecutors should still consider whether a charge under Section 5 will be adequate to reflect the seriousness of the offence and give the court sufficient sentencing powers. Factors tending to indicate that a charge under Section 4A is appropriate would include sustained abuse, targeting a lone victim, significant effect on victim. Factors tending to indicate that a charge under Section 5 is sufficient would include single remark, victim is not alone or isolated, effect is minor, transitory. Prosecutors should also consider charging offences under Sections 2 or 4 of the Protection from Harassment Act 1997 if the conduct complained of consists of 2 or more occasions. Refer to stalking or harassment elsewhere in the legal guidance.
So as you've seen, Section 4A is not going to be enough evidence for him to actually arrest and charge him with that at all. It's just them saying, oh, you're not allowed to do that, it's an offence. So does it come under Section 4? I mean 5? Oh, this is too big to do it all. So let's do the main points up to here.
Section 5. Harassment, alarm or distress. Triable summarily. Maximum, level 3 fine. See table below for the elements of this offence. With effect from the 1st of February, 2014, Section 5 no longer includes words, behaviour, or displays which are simply insulting. The effect of the amendment is that the insulting limb is also removed from the racially or religiously aggravated version of the Section 5 Public Order Act offence, i.e. the offence contrary to Section 31(1)(c) Crime and Disorder Act 1998. Prosecutors will need to consider carefully whether behaviour amounts to the commission of the Section 5 offence. In the majority of cases, prosecutors are likely to find that behaviour that can be described as insulting can also be described as abusive. See also guidance that has been published by the College of Policing. Whether behaviour can be properly categorised as disorderly is a question of fact. Disorderly behaviour does not require any element of violence, actual or threatened, and it includes conduct that is not necessarily threatening or abusive. It is not necessary to prove any feeling of insecurity, in an apprehensive sense, on the part of a member of the public. Chambers and Edwards v. DPP, 1995, Crim LR 896. The following types of conduct are non-exhaustive examples, which are capable of amounting to disorderly behaviour. Causing a disturbance in a residential area or common part of a block of flats. Persistently shouting abuse or obscenities at passers-by. Pestering people waiting to catch public transport or otherwise waiting in a queue. Rowdy behaviour in a street late at night, which might alarm residents or passers-by, be causing a disturbance in a shopping precinct or other area to which the public have access or might otherwise gather.
So there you go. I'm not going to go into the rest. If you really want to see the rest, you can. But here's a little table to show the extent of what would happen, blah, 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 all nonsense. I'm telling you now, what this copper is saying is a load of nonsense. Swearing within itself is not a public order offence. Like we're seeing in Section 5, it has to be threatening or abusive. Like it said in the Crown prosecution, the word insulting has now been taken out, but insulting words could be abusive words, depending on what and the context it's in. And on this, you have to have the intention to cause a person harassment, alarm, or distress, which he does not. And they wouldn't be able to prove a Section 4A at all anyway. So what this copper is saying is a lot of nonsense. I'm probably not going to interrupt it again because this has gone on for quite some time. So let's get back to the video.
Last August, Summerside Police
Would it still be the same if it smelled different?
even though in 2 sessions the investigation was funded and ordered,
Yeah, it's half 12 in the afternoon, isn't it?
500 million was
It's done in the morning, so.
they haven't started the investigation yet.
See, if it was spelled different like that, that's probably going to ban it.
Summerside Police are in disgrace.
But yeah, put that word clearly on display. As I say,
You never sold that.
You know what?
disgrace to this country.
What a disgrace. In this country.
No problem. As you said, you're fully entitled to do. We're wearing t-shirts. I think
Does that under the Act consider the ECHR freedom of expression?
not when it's committing a public order. So you're allowed to
Who decides it commits a public order offence, though? So you can put your notebook away then.
It's a public order offence, it has to be somebody else. You can't be onto your opinion, you've got to be a member of the public.
Section 4.
And a member of the public hasn't been on to you. You've just seen it. Nobody got up to your colleague. You always say people have got up to your colleague. No, they haven't. Nobody around me has come to you.
Asking for his details. It's ridiculous. For wearing a photo for a t-shirt, that's what it
They're the police forces of power. You know what? Homicide police. Chief Constable. He was a bully, and he's the person that authorised my arrest, my charges. A bully.
Yeah, he's a musketeer.
Unfortunately, that's where this video ends. Right, you've seen at the end, he's took his name and address and his details and everything. You're under no obligation to hand over any details whatsoever, unless if you are under arrest. And even then, if you're under arrest, you don't have to give any of those details. Right, I've been into that a lot of times, so I just wanted to repeat that again. This guy has handed over his personal details when he didn't have to. Now, what could they do, really? They could do a dispersal order, but only if a Section 35 is in place, which a Section 35 was probably not in place. I mean, 34 was probably not in place, so they had no powers to do anything anyways. Now, they could arrest him for this Section 4A, but then, like you said, they have to prove that there was a victim. They said somebody did come over and complain. Well, tough shit, right? You're in Hull. The word cunt is used in everybody's vocabulary. It is just a general thing, what people say. Now, that person what complained, would they really stand up in court and give evidence under a Section 4A? Probably not. And it's clearly not a Section 5, so where do they stand on this? They ain't got a leg to stand on. Plus, he removed the shirt when they asked him to do so. What more could they do? Absolutely nothing. Now, all that being said is just my opinion. It is what it is. Now, I want to thank my members for being a member. If you want to become a member, click the join button down below. As always, I want to know what you thought of this interaction in the comments down below. Like the videos, it does open YouTube's algorithm, and I'll catch you on the next one.